Welcome to Pilates in Port Elizabeth. Terminology for Channy Oddy's cueing. I cue, every teacher does, cues differently to everybody else, so if we're all on the same page about what I mean when I say what I say, we're good. Okay, we're going to break down a few exercises right now. When I ask you to put your hands overhead, first things first, she's gone back into Pilates stance. She's got her 3 points of Trinity, which is heels connected because the bottom squeezed, inner thighs zipped up, and pelvic floor lifted. She's lengthened her back onto the mat, and she's got her scoop. So she's in a perfect position. Now I want to ask her to take her hands overhead. If she just don't hold on anything, Mickey, just take your hands overhead. If you take your hands overhead without controlling it, there it is. She's lost her control through the back of the mat. Her ribs have all flared out, and we haven't got any control of those. So I'm going to probably cue meat hooks. Imagine that I put one side of a meat hook in there and the other side of the meat hook onto her hips, and one side of the meat hook there and another one into her hooks. If she takes her hands behind her and she doesn't control her back and her ribs, you can imagine that it's going to tear at her ribs. So as she takes herself over, she imagines that there's a meat hook between here and here and a second meat hook between there and there, and you'll see her rib cage stays nicely connected. So again, we'll take it down. She's going to do a bad one, inhaling the arms up to the ceiling and just going overhead without considering her meat hooks, hollowing out her back and allowing her ribs to pop open. And now she's going to do a control of the meat hooks. She's going to pull the ribs down to the hips. Her arms don't need to go to the floor. Her elbows need to stay straight. And in fact, very, very few people will manage to get their arms all the way to the floor. For most people who get their arms all the way from the floor have let their ribs go. So if you see if she just lets her arms go all the way to the floor, her ribs are going to open up and her back's going to come off the mat. Okay. You can hold this position. It's exhausting. I mean, this in itself is enough for a beginners to keep working on. Okay, so that is when I cue hands overhead. That's the hands going overhead, and then the meat hooks. This is the preparation for a lot of exercises, including the roll up. And we're going to do a roll up, rolling up one vertebra at a time. So inhaling the arms to the ceiling. As she exhales backwards, she considers the fact that she might have a meat hook between her rib and her hip and a rib and her hip, and she's prepared to go. Inhaling the arms to the ceiling again, bringing her chin onto her chest. And then one vertebra at a time, she's going to roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up. Well done, Maggie. She's keeping her hip bones away from her thigh bones. She's not just collapsing forward, putting her hips onto her thighs. That's not the exercise. Anyone can do that. Okay. She's trying her very best to keep her hip bones on her thigh bones. If I can come behind you, Megs. It feels like somebody has grabbed you by the hips and you're rolling forward against them. Go, Megsy. And I'm going to pull gently on hers, and she's going to stretch and work against me, work against me, work against me, go. And now what's happening, you can see, is that she's getting a beautiful curl through her back. So she's starting to work through all those vertebrae of her back, and her hip bones have stayed far away from her thigh bones, as opposed to the wrong version, which is hip bones and thigh bones connecting. So if I tell you to keep your hips away from your thighs, feel like I've grabbed on there and I'm pulling you back and you're battling away from me. Okay, so those are our overhead position. Our meat hooks are rolling up one vertebra at a time and keeping our hip bones away from our thigh bones. She wants to sit back of the sitting bone. So I don't have my model here. But anyway, back of her sitting bones. She's sitting on her sitting bones at the moment. If she sits back of her sitting bones, there she's sitting on the back of her sitting bones. So that would be another cue I might give, sitting back of the sitting bones. Okay, that's enough for this one.